What's up, guys? It's Graham here, and if you have any money in the markets whatsoever, you're going to want to hear this. Apparently, the stock market is going to peak in October of 2026, and then shortly after that, we're going to see a 40% decline. Unemployment is going to rise above 10%. Trillions of wealth is going to be wiped out in less than 2 years, and all of those safe mortgages will finally start falling into foreclosure. How? Well, Citrini Research just revealed what they believe is a realistic warning for our economy over these next few years. And I have to say, it is shocking. Not just because it sounds dramatic, but because the logic is incredibly convincing. That's why we need to talk about exactly what's happening, why some of the smartest people in the world believe that this has already begun to play out, how you could prepare today, and whether or not this is something to be worried about. Because I gotta say, the real risk isn't the market crash we see coming, it's that pressure builds quietly beneath the surface that nobody realizes until eventually something breaks. Although before we start, if you appreciate videos like this where I've spent the entire day reading through dozens of articles like this, it would mean the world to me if you hit the like button or subscribed if you haven't done that already. Yes, this is probably my 900th time asking and I am tired of it too, but it does continue to help out the YouTube algorithm, and as a thank you for doing that, as promised, here's a picture of an ant. So thanks so much, and also a big thank you to Gemini for sponsoring this video, but more on that later. Alright, so to bring you up to speed, all of this starts with the most controversial article that I have ever discussed, appropriately titled The 2028 Global Intelligence Crisis. Look, it's no surprise, so far, AI has helped push the stock market higher. Without it, we might already be in a recession, and it's been one of the biggest drivers of growth across the entire economy. But what if we're wrong? What if it's all smoke and mirrors, designed to look good on paper, while quietly extracting the wealth of everyday Americans? Well, that's the entire theory behind this paper, and it's quite interesting. The theory is that AI continues getting insanely good and extremely proficient. All of a sudden, companies use it to replace their white-collar workers, like consultants, financial analysts, software engineers, the people who make up 50% of US employment and drive about 75% of all discretionary spending. So what happens next? Well, those workers lose their jobs or see massive pay cuts. They stop spending money. Businesses see revenue decline. This causes companies to invest even more in AI to cut their costs further. More layoffs repeat. We see less spending from workers, and then it just spirals. So in terms of how this plays out, and whether or not this could actually happen in the next few years, Citrini breaks it down into 5 phases, with the first being the software collapse. At this point, AI coding gets so incredibly good that a single developer could replicate a mid-market SaaS product in weeks. So when a business is renewing a $500,000 annual software package, they'll start to ask themselves, what if we just built this ourselves to save the money? This is going to start becoming even more apparent when we see phase 2, zero friction. Pretty soon, AI agents will be able to handle everything. I'm talking shopping, insurance renewals, travel booking, tax prep, financial advice, even real estate transactions. From that point onwards, commissions will be reduced from 2.5% down to under 1%, and agents will start routing payments through stablecoins instead of credit cards. After all, why would a machine pay a 2 to 3% interchange fee when they could settle the transaction in seconds for a fraction of a penny? This leads to phase 3, the doom spiral. This, unfortunately, according to them, is where things get really ugly, because displaced white-collar workers don't just disappear. Instead, the Salesforce manager making $180,000 loses his job and starts working for Uber at $45,000. From there, multiply that by hundreds of thousands of workers, and all of a sudden, you have a flood of highly qualified people entering the jobs market, competing with one another, pushing down wages for everybody. Like, keep in mind, the top 10% of earners drive more than 50% of all consumer spending in the US. So when those people lose their jobs or see a 50% haircut in income, spending drops dramatically. That's why in Q2 of 2027, in this scenario, we are in a full-blown recession. And this means we'll see phase 4, a private credit collapse. Now, for anyone who's not been following this, more than $2.5 trillion has been invested in software priced at valuations that assume that revenue never goes down. Like, take Zendesk as an example. It was taken private for $10.2 billion, backed by a $5 billion loan. However, once AI started replicating customer service without any humans, their entire business model started becoming obsolete. However, there is a bit of a twist. These companies didn't raise money from private investors. Instead, they bought life insurance companies to fund their deals. So this impacts everyday retirement accounts, annuities, pensions, you name it. all wrapped their money into these deals that are now under pressure. And if that continues and worsens, we'll finally see phase 5. The mortgage market starts to crack. The fact is, when white-collar workers see a reduction of income or lose their job, they scale back. If they have to sell their home, and everyone has to sell at the exact same time, home prices begin to fall. If they owe more on the home than what the home is worth, they end up going into foreclosure if they're not able to bridge the gap. And if that sounds crazy, here's a line that really stuck out to me. In 2008, the loans were bad on day one. In 2028, the loans were good on day one. The world just changed after the loans were written. Anyway, this scenario ends with the S&P 500 falling 38% to roughly 3,500, a level that we've not seen since before ChatGPT launched. Home prices fall in all major metros, and the scariest part is that some of the world's smartest people already believe that some of this has begun to happen today. So in terms of what this means for you and how this might realistically play out, here's what you came for. Although before we go into that, I gotta say it's worth zooming out and taking a look at what's happening throughout the markets, because nothing moves in a straight line anymore. On top of that, your cash is losing purchasing power, prices are going up, and if you don't take steps to get ahead of this, you're gonna fall behind. That's why I think everyone should at least be trying to optimize their everyday spending without changing their lifestyle or trying to outsmart the market. And one of the ways I do this is actually with our sponsor, the Gemini credit card. With this, instead of my spending just disappearing into the abyss, I'm able to earn cryptocurrency back on everyday purchases. So I could build a small allocation anytime I spend money without even thinking about it. Or in this case, you could earn up to 4% back on transportation, 3% on dining, 2% on groceries, and 1% on everything else with no annual fee. All you gotta do is swipe your card like you would normally, and that's it. Plus, it comes in 6 unique stainless steel colors. You can get black, silver, rose gold, Bitcoin orange, XRP, or the brand new Solana edition. Even better, you could check out more information on rates and fees down below in the description, or see if you're eligible with no impact to your credit score. Without exaggeration, I've been using this card now for over a year, and I've been able to earn Bitcoin back on everyday spending like going to the gas station or going out to a restaurant or buying groceries. And if Bitcoin isn't your thing, you can also select for more than 50 other cryptocurrencies that you could switch to at any time. So if you'd like to instantly earn Bitcoin or select from dozens of other cryptocurrencies, head to gemini.com/Graham or click the link down below in the description to learn more and sign up today. Again, that is gemini.com/Graham with the link down below. Thank you so much, and now let's get back to the video. All right, now before we go over the counterarguments to this entire doomsday scenario and what you could do about it, I want to be fair because there are real data points today that suggest that all of this could actually be happening. For example, the CEO of Anthropic just went on record as saying that AI could wipe out nearly half of all entry-level white-collar jobs. Ford believes that employment will nosedive. Salesforce's CEO claimed that AI is already performing up to 50% of the company's workload, and JP Morgan managers have literally been told to avoid hiring people as the firm deploys AI across its businesses. Not to mention, Microsoft's AI chief says he gives it 18 months for all white-collar work to be automated. Now yes, this does sound a bit extreme, but when the head of AI at one of the world's most valuable companies in the world says this, it's worth paying attention to. Now, in addition to that, in terms of the actual data, Stanford Labs found that entry-level hiring has already dropped 13%. Goldman Sachs estimates that 6 to 7% of US workers could lose their jobs because of AI. And in 2025 alone, nearly 55,000 job cuts were directly attributed to automation, not including the 5 million white-collar jobs facing what Microsoft calls extinction. Separately, the private credit risk is also very real. Shadow defaults are rising, and none of this has been stress tested in a market that doesn't constantly grow. However, it is important to keep in mind that a compelling narrative is not the same thing as an accurate prediction. And despite everything that we've just covered, there's another scenario that says the exact opposite is going to happen. And in fact, we are going to see instead infinite abundance. So here's the thing, within a few hours of that article going live, a counterpiece was published called the 2028 Global Intelligence Boom, which was in the exact same format, but with the completely opposite conclusion. And when I went through it, they made some very interesting points. First, the Doomsday article assumes that every domino falls exactly in the right way without any adaptive response whatsoever. And throughout history, this just hasn't been true. In fact, we could prove it because similar predictions have been made throughout history. And so far, they've been incorrect. For example, in 1964, a group of experts told President Johnson that automation would create permanent mass unemployment. Congress literally created a national commission to study it. And as you would guess, they found that technology eliminates jobs, not work. Unemployment at that time was 5.5%, and by the late 1960s, it had fallen to the 4% range. So it literally created more jobs, not less. Then of course we have the dot-com era. The internet was supposed to dismantle everything, and to a certain degree, they were right. Travel agent employment did fall 70%. Newspaper ad revenue dropped 80%. But the timeline was 15 to 25 years, not 2 to 3 years. From there we could also look at crypto in 2021. It was supposed to replace money. Banks. Instead, banks just ended up adopting it. From my perspective, the pattern is always the same. A technology shows up, and then all of a sudden narratives run wild. All of these models just assume that nobody adapts, nobody competes, and nobody innovates. People just lose their jobs and sit back and do nothing. Instead, history shows that yes, some areas completely wiped out, but it's usually not overnight, and it takes a lot longer than people expect. The second, and this is a big point that they brought up, is that when AI makes something cheaper, the money doesn't disappear. It usually goes back to consumers. For instance, the average American household spends about $18,000 to $12,000 a year on services whose value is basically just navigating complexity. If AI is able to lower those costs by 40 to 70%, all of a sudden, that's a $4,000 to $7,000 raise for the average person, tax-free, without doing anything else on their end. Third, the Citrini piece also assumes that people just lose their jobs and then do nothing, and doesn't account for the people who then use the AI to create even bigger or better opportunities. Like from my perspective, the cost of starting a business has already fallen about 70 to 90%. Like you today could go and create an e-commerce business or anything that you could think of for practically free. And fourth, when you actually go and look at the data, mass unemployments aren't quite happening. Like even a Yale budget study found that there's been no meaningful rise in unemployment across AI-exposed occupations. And finally, fifth, Sam Altman said it himself that a lot of the layoffs attributed to AI are simply AI washing, where basically companies are blaming AI for layoffs that would have occurred anyway, and AI is simply the scapegoat to make it sound more legitimate. That's why, in terms of what I think and what you could actually do about this, here's what you came for. Personally, this piece is one of the most thought-provoking articles that I have read in a very long time, but it also assumes that every single if-then, then-that scenario happens in the exact right order for perfect doomsday without any intervention whatsoever, which historically is pretty unlikely. The fact is, people adapt, markets adjust, the government steps in, and new industries are created that we haven't even thought about yet. So in terms of what the average person could actually do about this, here's what I think. 1. Diversify your income. If 100% of your income is derived from white-collar work that involves repetitive tasks, most likely you should be looking for something additional beyond that. Today, not tomorrow. Because the fact is, if you begin to use and leverage AI, make it work for you. Otherwise, it's going to be competition. 2. Learn the tools. The people who will do best in this transition are going to be using AI to their advantage. And the people who ignore it are going to be the ones that fall behind and later have to do it because they have no other choice. Plus, I gotta say, there are so many resources out there to get started for free, and I'll link a few of them down below in the description as a nice gesture that you can just watch these things and you're good. 3, keep investing. For myself, I literally buy every single morning before I even get out of bed. I check the markets, I dollar cost average. It's become a part of my routine at this point. On top of that, so far, the market has survived every technological revolution, every recession, every crisis in history. Just stay out of margin and don't over leverage yourself or make stupid, risky bets going all in on like one thing. Don't do that. Instead, you should really just diversify across as many different sectors as possible and invest money that you preferably don't need for at least the next 5 to 7 years. 4, build an emergency fund. Yes, I know, I mention this every single video. You don't think I'm sick of it too. It's just the thing is, like, it makes the most sense. Save up, 6 months of emergency funds at all times that you could rely on if you absolutely need to. There's no reason not to do this, and I'll just keep saying it until eventually I don't need to say it anymore, but I still need to say it because I guarantee someone's watching out there who hasn't done this yet. Please do it. And finally, 5, don't panic. Yes, the S&P 500 is near all-time highs. The economy is still growing. Unemployment is still low. Selling everything because you read a scary article has been the wrong moment to sell so far every single time in history. This has been the case in 1987, 2001, 2008, 2020. These ended up being years of insane profits. On top of that, the Centrini piece ends with, "The canary is still alive." And I think that's exactly right. In this case, our job is to pay attention to what's going on, and then you can make a plan for a better move ahead of time. Like hitting the like button and subscribing if you haven't done that already. Oh, and also just keep in mind that I am a random dude in a half-converted garage making YouTube videos, and I have no idea what I am talking about. So if you agree or disagree with me, let me know down below in the comments, and I will do my best to read and reply to as many of you as I can. Thank you so much, and until next time.